we could continue this talk about media and investigative journalists if you want. And one that used to be one and has been in court today, actually. Should we ever talk about, I was going to say, what's Liz short for? Elizabeth, probably, isn't it? Elizabeth Gunn.
The only good thing that Liz Gunn ever did, and I'm actually now thinking about it, not even sure that it was her, but do you remember Rastus the cat?
It does ring a bell, but not really.
This cat that used to ride around on the front of some dude's motorcycle, had a little motorcycle helmet and goggles.
And had little glasses. Yeah, yep. I am with you.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Liz interviewed Rastus and the owner.
Right.
That's I assume, the last good thing that she did.
So that's peak journalism for Liz Gunn. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, let's have a look. Liz Gunn, assault trial judge finds anti-vaxxation. It's an interesting way of putting it. Vaccination, rather than just anti-vaxxer, using the full term there. Anti-vaccination campaigner guilty of assault releases damning judgment. A judge has found Liz Gunn guilty of assault following an eventful trial of the former TVNZ host and anti-vaccination campaigner. But Judge Janie Forrest found Gunn and her cameraman, Jonathan Clark, not guilty of resisting police. A packed public gallery of supporters at the Monaco District Court applauded when the not guilty verdicts were read, but expressed dismay when the guilty verdict was returned, yelling "shame" and "disgusting" as the judge retired, because that's typically what that means, is you don't agree with me. So I'm going to say those sorts of things. Gunn and her lawyer, Matthew Haig, had claimed that she had merely touched the arm of the security worker to gain her attention, a defense rejected by Judge Forrest. In a written judgment released after the hearing, Judge Forrest described it as an hostile act. In summary, Ms. Gunn was arrogant, rude, overbearing, and offensive in her manner in dealing with the complainant. Now, not to start to pick apart the things, none of those things warrant any kind of conviction, though. You're allowed to be rude, overbearing, offensive, and and that you can be racist. That's not against the law.
When I come to power,
yeah, okay, fair enough. Judge Forrest rejected Haig's defense that Gunn had implied consent to touch Auckland Airport security worker Anna, I'm not going to try that name, on the arm. To the contrary, she acted with complete and total disregard for social norms and for the person in question, the complainant. I have a couple of videos. The first video is actually, I was going to say the alleged assault, but she's been found guilty. And this is one of these times where I'm going to go, there's a technicality here which she's guilty of, but we were talking last night about levels of crimes. When it comes to an assault, it's pretty minor. I'm just being straight with you.
Get the popcorn, people.
It's pretty minor.
This is amazing.
Here we go. What I actually find than the whatever it's called, than the touch, is the language. What country were you originated from? That's what I find is actually more revolting. But
it's racist. She's being
let's have a look.
Let's have a look. Drama queen.
And you can decide for yourself. Now it's up here in the corner. It's all blurred out. It does zoom in and get a little bit better, but the footage is average in quality.
Hello. Hi.
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 Do you have a permission?
Well, I'm like the woman over there filming when her friends come up.
No, this is the interview and professional camera. So, are you doing for the business purpose?
No, we're filming people that we've helped get off an island, and we're just going to get it in good quality, high resolution stuff. But it's not a business. There's no money being made. We are literally volunteers who make no money, and we volunteer to help each other, and we love each other, and we do it from love. We do it from service for a free New Zealand. And the thing is that if we have this kind of New Zealand where we don't have freedoms, because where are you from originally?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, well, it matters to me because no, I'll just tell you, because the way it started in Germany was with little freedoms being taken.
Could you please turn on the camera?
Sorry, excuse me.
Could you please?
Excuse me. What is the law? What is the law?
That was it. Now, I mean, like, guilty, not guilty, technically or not. It's pretty minor. Either way, watch it again.
Sorry.
Watch the hand in the center.
Sorry, excuse me. Excuse me. What is the law? What is the law?
Could you please?
No. What is the law that you're doing this under? You just have to. You
You in a
Parley.
private area.
Parley. Are you French or are you?
Excuse
me?
What
I'll
the
be following
fuck?
this up with the head of the airport, and I'm going to be standing for politics. So I'm going to take this political.
I'm going to be standing for politics is not particularly the smartest line to use when you're trying to shall I say intimidate? Is that the right word? Someone when you're trying to basically say you need I'm important. I'm going to politics.
And flash forward, that run at politics went very well.
Swimmingly.
Politically as well. This is a very big issue of abuse of power. This woman is being very rude. She wouldn't give her name, and there's no reason for her to do this. You may be able to explain to her, we are not doing this as a venture where we make money. This is friends filming on high resolution gear, filming other friends. So there's no reason. This is ego. This is abuse of power. And I'm going to take this large because I will not.
And that's why she's talking into a microphone, saying it's no different from, filming your family. So, I mean, it would be really interesting when the question is just because they've got a better camera, can they call it? But you have to remember also a microphone in her hand. You can see it's holding, I've got them upstairs, the little DJI microphones. You see them on podcasts, you have them on their lapels all the time. And now making, not threats like physical threats, but basically threats towards people's professionalism. And it's basically Karen to the max. Let me speak to your manager. That's basically what she's doing here. We'll get to the end of this. Only 30 seconds.
Be in New Zealand where this sort of abuse happens. I don't know where she's come from, but she's clearly come from a country that is not ours, and it is abusive to treat us like
Racist.
Explain.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to do this. This absolute overreach. It's bullying. She wouldn't talk to me. He said, "Go and talk to her." I said, "She won't talk."
Jesus, can you imagine?
And I said, "We're not making money from this. We're just filming friends on a high resolution camera who are coming in."
No.
He
And with a
listened.
microphone.
He was nice. He was a Kiwi.
Okay. Oh, he was a
Oof.
Kiwi.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was frightening.
Yeah.
He was nice.
Frightening.
He was a Kiwi. He was nice. He was a Kiwi. Now, I've actually got the footage of her coming out of Thing today, thanks to intrepid journalist John Ansell. But yeah, it's not exactly hidden, the racial undertones of the language. He was nice. He was Kiwi. Where are you from? Not a country like New Zealand. It's pretty refined. All of those words, though, aren't criminal. The touch, pretty minor. Maybe what a judge does, it looks at the full picture and say, if you incorporate all those words as well, that added to it or something. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Look, when I first watched this, and I watched this about a week ago. It's one of those things. That touch of the shoulder. As someone that works in retail with people face to face and that sort of thing, if someone reached over and touched me, in that way, it would provoke a similar reaction. A very sharp. You don't touch me.
Yeah.
There's absolutely
I also agree that it's an assault because unwanted touch, full stop, is an assault. So there's no question. It's just all I'm saying is on the scale of assaults, it's a more minor one. But Navigator here, just to I'm not saying that that's the correct answer. It's just my thoughts. Says that is incredibly intimidating. How dare she touch that worker? Fair enough. I'm happy to back down and withdraw. But that was just my original thoughts.
And I mean, you just see the way that Liz talks. It's like she gets on a tear, and as a ranter, I recognize a rant.
Game recognizing game, is it?
Game recognizes game. But yeah, like it's came over. Excuse me, do you have permission to film there? Because you obviously have a shoulder-mounted fucking camera. And she's like, microphone. Oh no, it's like people with their iPhones filming their relatives coming in. Liz has worked in the media and probably knows very well that you need permission to film by law in an airport.
I don't know. Do you know that to be true? I don't know if that's true because it is required,
but it's private.
So what happens if these come out and you're filming your family coming through? That's my question. Let's not defend you, but I'd like to know the legalities.
No, in a professional capacity, you need to apply to the airport for permission.
But I guess that's her argument. Her argument, it wasn't professional, which is bullshit because it's all obviously they've got microphones and it's going to go on YouTube.
She has a fucking cameraman.
Yeah.
With not an iPhone. She wanted to film on an iPhone. She could film on a fucking iPhone. No one would have ever approached her.
Yeah.
But she's there mic'd up with a dude with a shoulder-mounted digital camera.
Yeah.
Your average punter isn't going to go out and buy That's
Look,
like a $3,000 or $4,000 piece of kit. So of course,
agreed.
someone from the airport is going to come up and ask the question, "Excuse me, do you have permission?" And that's what set it off. This huge, big fucking rant.
The entitlement.
Where she doesn't answer the question. It's entitled. It's also a load of bullshit.
Yeah.
And then everything else comes out. Like she goes to talk to the cameraman because he's the one with the camera. And then she's suddenly in her face and touching her.
Yeah. And look,
You know,
a comment in the chat, Paul, the other one, g'day Paul, says it could be that also the judge wanted to make an example of her. The assault was definitely not the most extreme, but it's a great opportunity to hold her to account in some way. Yeah, look, and look, the point being, she said it wasn't professional. She's got a YouTube channel. She's got a presence in the media. She had a microphone and a broadcast quality. I mean, to be honest, these are 4K. These are basically broadcast quality. But but what you're saying,
to film on it, if she wanted to film on
yes,
on an iPhone, she fucking could. But the grifting money's got to be spent somehow. So.
Well, I actually think what's more telling is the microphone. That's the more telling bit. People who are just doing it, for their family, don't carry a microphone with them. She had a microphone, DJI mic. So, let's have a look at her coming out of the court today after being found guilty. Obviously, she got to go home and stuff, which is all well and good. This has been sent to me. This link. I got told it's about 3:40. You can see in the background there is Liz coming out. So we'll join his conversation midstream and see what she had to say.
It's possible this bad news, although it might turn out to be good news because it should rouse the passionless people. Hello, here we are.
Who's this
I'm not going to say anything
Not
other
going
than
to say
this.
anything. Yeah.
The people of New Zealand
I'm
need
not going to say
to speak
anything.
now.
Here's my speech.
This is beyond corrupt. And when I was standing there and I felt the presence of the person I felt at the airport when I was being bashed up, I felt my father. And
I was being bashed up? Was that the issue? Was semi-resisting police but not found guilty of?
This is her whole thing. Since this has happened, she has been sporadically wearing either what do they call it, like a wrist brace, or she's been holding. Like her argument is, when she was arrested, the police used excess force.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a criticism that the judge has made of the police, that they didn't give her enough time to realize that she was being trespassed and asked to leave the airport. There was 18 seconds before that they were arrested. And I'm with the judge on this point. The cops came in and just pretty much instantly took her down. But the fact that she's gone, this police officer has 3 times the strength of me. He's twice my size. He used excess force. And the cops come along and said, no, like, grabbed her arm and went to move her out of the property, and she said he's basically destroyed her wrist. But sporadically, she has had her whole arm in a sling, or her arm braced.
Do you know what's unfortunate? What's unfortunate is if she believed in the medical system, she could have gone and got scans on that wrist and had evidence. But seeing she thinks that the medical system is corrupt, and obviously she wouldn't trust them. They probably would plant someone else's X-ray to then not fulfill her narrative. We'll just get to the end of this, and let's just listen to the last 60 seconds or so of Liz Gunn not making a statement.
I raised him in that first message to all New Zealanders. I said, I'm doing this because my father went to war for a free New Zealand, and one where we can communicate, and we must honor what those soldiers did. And I could feel him in the court today, and what I felt was pure horror, that he, or his soul, or his essence was saying, this cannot be the country I went to war for. This cannot be what our generation sacrificed so much for my daughter to be
held accountable for her actions,
abused by the court system. And that's all I want to say, New Zealanders. You must stand up now.
I can't
because
say anything.
I'm the first, but you'll be next if you don't.
There you go. And there's a Trumpian line at the end. I'm the first and you'll be the next. In other words, if they can do it to me, they'll do it to you. So just so you know, New Zealand, if you go into a private place with professional recording equipment and refuse to leave, they can do it to you too, because they did it to Liz. Because that's what it's about.
I'll point out the gentleman that she's talking to as well. That's Colin Ansell.
Yep.
If you're not familiar with that man's name, he is responsible for a couple of things that you might be familiar with. Do we remember Iwi versus Kiwi?
Yep.
He was Don Brash's advisor,
Right.
and he was Axe advisor. And if you really want to just feel the desire to pour bleach in your eyeballs, try and track down his social media these days.
Can I just ask?
Incredibly racist.
Colin or John? Because the Facebook page is John Ansell.
I thought it was Colin, but yeah, no, you might be right. It's definitely Ansell, but yeah.
Is that it there? John Ansell.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, John Ansell. Sorry.
Okay. That's right. Just checking. I don't know.
Yeah, he's fully at that. Like, police have gone to his house before because of the comments that he's made online threatening Jacinda Ardern. He's live streamed those events as if it's Ruby Ridge ×2, and it's just literally two cops going, you can't say these things online, man. So these guys blow everything out of proportion. And they all talk like this. It's all this feedback loop because they're only talking to themselves. We talk about being aware of your echo chamber. These guys are stuck in the most delusional echo chamber I have ever seen. I don't know if it's mental illness. I don't know if it's grift. I don't know if it's a combination of it. It's just crazy. The way that she talks, the intensity that she brings to it, the theatricalness, the hyperbole is just, she always makes it sound like, they're in the midst of the Nazi Empire and the only people that can see the way through, honorable freedom fighters. And they're just, just the worst people. They were there to film people that had refused
anti-vaxxers.
to cooperate with, was it Tokolow's lockdown and outbreak.
Right. Yeah.
Liz was behind what we were talking about with that little kid who needed the open heart surgery.
Yeah, the blood, not getting vaccinated blood.
Yeah, she was 100% behind that. She does an enormous amount of harm.
I'm just flicking through his social medias. I don't really know anything about him, to be honest, but I noticed something when certain people are talking about New Zealand and standing up for New Zealand and doing New Zealand. The group that seems to be around them don't seem to be very representative of New Zealand. I mean, if you just, I don't want to play anymore particularly, but if you just have a look at like the group of people that are there, I think I would say white and middle class to boomer is actually, look, there you go, there's a better photo there, is everyone, just the people that are there. So you're talking about New Zealand, the country you live in, and all that kind of stuff. There you go. It's not particularly representative of the New Zealand we all live in. So maybe what she's saying is fair if she's talking to that New Zealand, a particular slice of middle-aged to boomer white New Zealanders who think they have a supreme look over the world. Just
that woman there that's filming, I assume she's live streaming to everybody else that's also in that circle. That's the echo chamber.